And welcome to a special presentation with Expedia Cruises in North Vancouver and Avalon Waterways. I'm so glad you've joined us and you're going to stay tuned in here because we have got a fantastic presentation and maybe a little show. Dale, cue the cheesy 70s music. Sorry, no 70s music? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go around let's introduce today's contestants and guests because we have a different presentation, one you may not have seen before. You're going to pick the vacation that you want to travel with. So starting off on my left-hand side here is Fiona from Avalon Waterways. Welcome, Fiona.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share my pick of the day.
Your pick, your travel, I can't wait. It's somewhere far, far away.
Yeah, Far East somewhere.
Far East. Well, before we get to the Far East, we do need to travel in somewhere in Europe. And presenting over here on my right side, Mr. Dale.
Good afternoon. You guys may as well quit. I'm gonna win.
You're going down, Dale. You're going
You're
down.
going down. I have the trip that everybody's gonna want to go on.
Fiona, I think he's been on the Nectar of the Gods already.
Oh, maybe. Well, I think what we need to do before we get our gloves on, we need to go over maybe a little bit and give a bit of an introduction on the on the experience on board these ships that the two of you will be talking about, and then we'll leave the best for last as far as I'm concerned. So
keep on going. I love the beautiful picture here. This is an awesome shot. I love the ship.
Yes. We have 14 ships that you can choose from in Europe. We also have a ship that is traveling the Nile. We go to the Amazon. We have the Galapagos as well as the Mekong. So there are several different ships to choose from, all 5-star service and quality on board. And, I think one of the key factors with Avalon Waterways is we want you to travel in style, but travel in comfort, right? I think that's really what it comes down to. And you have most recently gotten off one of our ships, so you just had the opportunity to experience some of our public spaces on board. So what do you have to say about your experience?
I remember stretching out and just sitting there watching the world go by, doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You're going to show the bar later. All I did was sit there and I would do the letter T to the bar, and that was the symbol for Talsker. And if I did the letter M, it was McCullen. That was all right. I had to do.
I think one of those best things is that you get that choice of top shelf liquor, right? So it's
and it was
for everyone.
I think it was day 2, and they knew exactly what I was doing too.
Oh, I thought you were going to say day 2 and they had to restock.
That's our little secret.
Yeah. Well, some of the differences that you get while you're on Avalon Waterways are the experiences, the space, and how you will feel and what you will do with us while you're on board. So one of the number one is our panorama suite. So on our European river cruises, as you can see in the top left, our panorama suites are 200 square foot suite. You have a full floor to ceiling window. We've moved the balcony, so we've pushed the space of the balcony into the room. This is allowing you more public space. We're not putting a seasonal balcony on the outside of your room. So, if it's beautiful out, you slide that door. And as you experienced, you can sit on your bed or your couch or your, comfortable chair. You can have your coffee, you can have your cocktail, or you can just relax in the afternoon after coming back from your, awesome excursions. Speaking of our excursions is, our curated experience. We give you the choice to do what suits you rather than us telling you what to do. We give you options of the excursions, the pre or post tours that you want to do, and we give you the flexibility to make those choices. So I think that's really important when you're enjoying the passions that mean something to you and being able to delve into these destinations. We have our Active in Discovery program, which is more unique experiences on 6 of our rivers, more overnights, and more time in the ports. And this is, you know, 2 experiences that you had, and I think you might be discussing them, but that is one of our most popular itineraries, is our active and discovery. So think of it more, more hiking, biking, kayaking, you know, different immersive excursions such as painting workshops or chocolate making, or you know,
Oyster tasting.
Oyster tasting. You got it. You got it. We also have our special interest cruises that are available to you. So whether you want to do a wine appreciation or beer tasting or our bites and brews excursion or tours and sailings, we have author, which is our storyteller series, which is our author focused itineraries. So there's really something for everyone. If you're you know, into photography, that's another aspect that we have. And lastly, we have something for everyone. So if you're doing an excursion or a travel to a specific destination and you're there for a week or 10 days and you thought, maybe I want to try out a river cruise, I'm not sure if it's really for me, dabble in it. Take a shorter river cruise. That opportunity is available to you. And one of the programs that I know is near and dear to your heart as well is our sustainable river cruising. You know, we've really made this such a deep focus for Avalon Waterways, as well as under the umbrella of Globus family of brands. We have partnership for Trees for Travel. So prior to 2022, we were generally doing about 4 trees per ship to offset our carbon footprint, which was required. In 2022, we have agreed to offset that carbon footprint even more so by going above and beyond, and it's 1 tree for every traveler on board. So, you know, going above and beyond and really giving back to the sustainability. We've had green awards for all Avalon Waterways ships, and we've eliminated all single-use plastics on board. And I know you had a great conversation with your cruise director when you were on board, and I'm sure there's some things that you would love to add.
Yeah, now, I mean, Avalon has, you know, their clean oceans initiatives, a variety of, you know, making sure things get recycled. One of the key things I did notice was when you're docked in downtown, you put the name next to it, insert name of city, the ship turns off. There's no idling. There's no noise, there's no rattling, there's no fumes and stuff, because they're all plugged into shore power when they're in Europe. And that was nice, right? They respect the community and the canals that they're in. And the other thing is, even though Avalon has this, staff, employees have their own beliefs and are supported through this. And my cruise director, which I think is the best cruise director out there, he's been in the industry for 38 years. I mean, he's part of what's called the Amsterdam Clean Canal Air Project. He lives near the area and stuff. So, I mean, Avalon supports him and his efforts to go out and make sure that his canals and his community is clean. So it's not just, you know, corporate talk, it's actually supporting employees in their initiatives as well.
Yeah, you can talk the talk, but you definitely have to walk the walk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're doing new stuff on one of the ships. You're actually doing dry composting efforts, right? So for all the food that, I don't know why there'd be waste, but there is obviously going to be some stuff. It's all composted and taken off site and composted and recycled as well. So your footprint is minimal. I watched them take stuff off the ship and there weren't that many bags, you know.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That's wonderful. So, you know, that's sustainable. I know a lot of people are choosing to travel with companies that have a plan in place. So it's definitely great that, you know, partnering with you, know that we have that agreement and we're making those initiatives and making them happen. So let's take a quick peek around the ship just so that you can see, you know, Avalon Waterway ships. So we have the 3 levels, and then we also have the sky deck that's on the top level. You do have the 3 types of rooms available. We have one which is our lower level rooms, our deluxe rooms, and I call them with a a swan view window at the top of the room. Then we have our panorama suites, which are really our best seller. And then we also have royal suites which are a little bit bigger and have a secondary bathroom on board. But our big seller and our number one is our panorama suites. Those beds face the view. You have extra room in there. You can either have the full bed or you can have 2 twin beds available in that room. So if it's 2 singles traveling together, that is something that's available as well. Another thing just to mention, on all of our sailings in Europe, we do have a program with our no single supplement. So if you're thinking of traveling with us for the first time and you may not have a companion, that is something to definitely consider with Avalon Waterways. We do have multiple menus and venues to choose from. So whether it's a barbecue or a grill day on the top deck, if you want to take off a picnic lunch, dining in your stateroom, or even just our, all those wonderful meals on board the ship. There's lots of different options for you. Every afternoon we have, in our panorama lounge, we have that light menu that's available as well, that you can have snacks and soup and salad and wonderful things. And of course, let's not forget happy hour before dinner, because we know we all love that part. And then in the evening, we have, our lounges. So I think the stool to the far right might have Andrew's name imprinted on it, but these are some of our beautiful areas that you have access to, and outdoor seating areas, as well as that top deck that you have available.
Yeah, I mean, these pictures, they're beautiful, but they don't do it justice. I mean, there's so many. The details, right? I mean, if you went back a couple of photos, I don't know, Dale, if it was on your trip that you're going to talk about, but they've got beautiful glass bottled distilled water in the room every day, replenished every day. They take care of you the whole time, whatever you're looking for. And if you need a bottle, just go to the front desk and ask for one, right? They give you one. If you're going to go off on a day trip and you don't want to buy water in town, you can just ask for a aluminum bottle, and here you go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And that one picture that we have there is in our club lounge. So at the aft of our ship, we have a beautiful club. Actually, it's not, I don't have a picture of it, but it's just in front of, or at the aft of our ship, we do have our club lounge, which is 24-hour self-service beverage station with complimentary cappuccinos and lattes and hot chocolate. You got teas and cookies, and it's, all of it available and replenished throughout the day. So you have somewhere to sit if, if the weather is not so great and you can't go up to that top deck, gives you an opportunity to have a wonderful experience with us and enjoy some warm treats.
It's beautiful to sit back there because you can sit right at the very back. It's covered, and you can watch the world go by, right? You can say, go through the canals. I don't know, maybe go and see where you're going to pick the grapes, Dale.
Yeah. So where are we going, Dale? What are you going to tell us about?
All right. Well, you guys may as well just sit off to the side. Give up now. I am going to talk to you about the active discovery on the Rhone. If you like food and wine, this is going to be the cruise for you. You're going to start in Lyon. Lyon is called the gastronomic capital of the world. And the original Michelin food critic, his name was, I'm going to mess up the spelling, this pronunciation, but it's Konotsky in 1935 said, this is the food capital of the world. They've got, as of 2021, they've got 15 Michelin starred restaurants. And they have 22 certified Bouchon of Lyon. And that's a rustic restaurant where they have the checkered tablecloth and really the food that symbolizes Lyon. And it's one of my favorite places for food. The food markets are absolutely amazing. I know Andrew's gone to some of the food markets in Belgium and Amsterdam, and these would knock the socks off them. On this cruise, it's visiting some of the top regions for wine in France. You're going to go Burgundy, Côte de Rhône, Hermitage, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and the Provence region down in the south. One of my favorite stops on this one is in Tunnel Hermitage. When we did our cruise there, there's a little photo of it down there. That's looking up into the vineyards of Chapoutier. And we went walking up to the very top where that sign is, and just the views from up there. And then you get back down to the bottom and you can buy a bottle of wine that was from the area you just walked in. But that's not the best part of Tunnel Hermitage. It sounds really good, but it's not the best part. The best part is the Verona Chocolate Factory. The Verona chocolate is some of the best chocolate in the world, and they have a factory and a museum there and a tasting room. And the tasting room you can go into, and it's just got like troughs of chocolate, different kinds of chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and you can just sample as much as you want. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay, Dale, you got me at wine and chocolate so far.
Then the next stop along the way, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because you're all going to vote for it and go and see it yourself, is Vigniers. And Vigniers is known for, there's a church on the very top of the city. If you go in, you can probably listen to an organ recital. Little cool fact, if you look out on the right side when you're at the top of the church and you look, there's a building down at the bottom, and during the World War II, that's where the Gestapo had their headquarters. Also, it's got some of the locks that you're going to go through. In that area, it's got the biggest, deepest lock in all of France. It's 23 meters deep. So you go in at one level, and you're either going to rise up 23 meters or drop down 23 meters. And standing on the top of the boat as you're doing that is just amazing, because you're looking up and you're thinking, wow, that's pretty high. And then suddenly you feel yourself going up. It's really, really cool. Avignon, another stop on here. It was bought by a pope, Clemens IV, in 1348. And for 7 consecutive popes, they all had, that's where they were, not in Rome, not at the Vatican. It was in Avignon. And it's got, it's called Palace of the Popes. It's really cool to do a tour through there. It's lots of fun. By the time you're finished, you're going to be hungry and you probably want some wine. So in the afternoon, what you can do is you can go do a tour to Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And you're going to go to one of the wineries there, and you're going to do a tasting. And at that tasting, you're going to go down into one of their caves, and it's all lit in yellowish light, and the big wine barrels, and where they've got the wine in there. And you're going to try Châteauneuf-du-Pape wine, which is one of my favorites. It's made out of 13 different varieties of grapes. It's really, really good. If you don't want to drink wine, and I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to drink wine, you can go to Pont-Negarde and you can go kayaking. You can see the picture of the kayak there. Maybe you go kayaking and go drink wine after. Maybe. Anyways, lots of fun. Next, you'll get down to Arles, and Arles has got one of the biggest and best coliseums outside of Rome, and it's almost 100% still intact. The other cool thing in Arles is that that's where Vincent van Gogh cut off his ear and gave it to a prostitute. I guess he ran out of money. And anyways, him and Paul Gauguin painted some of their best work from there. You can go visit the hospital that they put Van Gogh into, and maybe even check out some lavender fields. And here's a little known fact that not too many people know about Arles. The Gypsy Kings are from there. Yeah, and then lastly, you're going to go down to Port St. Louis, where you're going to get off the ship. And there's a couple of things you can do there, but one of the things you have to do is go oyster tasting. at the oyster farms. So
Yeah.
I think I put out a pretty good reason why you want to do this cruise. Wine, food, active discovery, kayaking, electric bikes. You can do it all on this cruise.
My goodness, Dale, you've got somebody was paying attention on their active discovery tours, weren't they? Well, folks,
That's right.
that was very interesting. And you do this all in what, 7 days?
Yeah.
7 days. Beautiful. Ooh, boy, ladies and gentlemen.
Next up.
Let's take a tour to Holland and, well, it should be the Netherlands and Belgium. And I recently just came back from this trip about a week and a half ago, so I'm on the right time zone here. But I do believe this one shouts out to everything relaxing and active in discovery and reconnecting with your loved one. My wife and I went, and this is a beautifully paced trip. It's calm, you're in canals, you're on beautifully gently flowing rivers, and you go around and you see actually some really fantastic parts of Europe that you probably wouldn't necessarily want to do a land tour on, you necessarily wouldn't see from a cruise ship side of things. So you're going to get in and you're going to discover why this part of the world is so unique. Now, we set sail from Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a wonderful city where every second shop is something unique and special. Wink, wink. You know, it's for the eyes, and for the spirited people in there. And yes, there's cheese, but there's lots of seafood, so you can get your fill. There's also some fantastic restaurants. One of the good things that we did was, while you're in Amsterdam, you do need to try the Indonesian food. I mean, the Netherlands, they did have some outposts, or they were in Indonesia, and they just happened to bring back some of this fantastic cuisine that is still alive and well here in Amsterdam. The buildings are unique. I mean, there's a canal, there's just like streets, there's canals, there's buildings. You can see the heritage that's there, and it's a fairly new city. I mean, they're building all the time. So for myself, when we think of active, we're thinking here in BC like mountain climbing, sea kayaking. Well, you can do those types of things anywhere, but really, when you're on an Avalon, it's for all skill sets. We're in a small biking group. I think they maxed out at 8 in every group. And there was from 14-year-olds to 70-year-olds all biking together in a nice trail with a guide. And the guide not only made sure that we got through this safely, but they took us through and they explained the history of the towns. And one of the cities that I love the most is Antwerp. Now, I'll get to telling you the story of how it got its name, but Antwerp was amazing. We dock in the downtown portion of this. Like you can see here on the left-hand side, these are some of my photos. That's condos. That's downtown Antwerp here. You can walk off the ship and 20 minutes you can be at museums, public accessible lookouts. You can learn about the giant. There are hundreds of sculptures and public art everywhere. And as the evening folds in on you on your first night, because you get to overnight here, as the first evening comes in, the city comes alive with the little tavernas. The people get together after work. There was a bachelor party at one place that we didn't really crash them because it's just me and my wife, but you know, we did have some fun in here. But the day before, or that afternoon, we were out biking, learning about things. We got back on our ship, got refreshed, had a fantastic meal, which featured some of the Belgian foods and the drinks here. And let's go back out. Let's make it a date night. So we had a date night here. And these pictures, I mean, I think the date night started at 9 and went to midnight. And the last photo you see is around 11 o'clock at night. So you're that far north that there's a lot of daylight out and you get to enjoy things. So I think the next slide shows me having a few libations. You're like a local. There's nothing more rewarding than getting off a ship and just enjoying the local whatever is going on. And there's not 700 of you getting off the ship. There's only 80 people getting off the ship, 100 people getting off the ship and enjoying the city the size of Antwerp. So let's go back. Dale was sharing some of the unique things about this. Antwerp, I think, was really special. It allowed my wife and I to reconnect. We had a great time biking, learning the history. Antwerp sits on a river. It's the second largest port in Europe. I think it covers something like 86 square kilometers. But back in the day, let's go back to like 900 AD type of thing. There was a giant that guarded the river. And in order for passage, he demanded payment, right? This is how it went. So if captains didn't want to pay, he'd pick up the captain, the giant pick up the captain, cut off their wrist. And so word got out, this is not a great place to visit, stay away. So the people were like, hey, this is not going so well. So a Roman soldier was in the neighborhood one day. He says, hey, king, I can solve your problem. I'll fight this giant and I'll solve the problem and I'll kill him. The people's like, yeah, you go, buddy. And anyways, next morning, everybody woke up and they heard the clanging of swords and stuff, and people started gathering around and like, oh boy, this Roman soldier is really giving it to the giant. Like, oh, he good. So there's cheering on, and he jabs the giant in the loins, and giant falls down, he bleeds out, and he's there, people of the village, I saved you, and there's, your town will prosper now, and so on and so forth. And he cuts the giant's wrist off and he throws it into the river. The people were so grateful for this. They solved their problems, and they wanted to name the village after him to show how much they cared about it. But Roman soldiers in those days, the names didn't roll off their tongues. I think it was like Sergio Brunelli, and that didn't go over so well back in the day. So they came up with a new word, Antwerp, and it's a play on words. Ant is the Dutch word for hand. Twerp means to throw. Antwerp, throwing of the hand. That's how they got their name. Now, would I go and look this up on Wikipedia? Absolutely not. It's just another town. It's just another name for me. But when you're biking, it sounds like, oh yeah, we're active discovery, we have to bike so many kilometers. No, we're not measuring distance. We're biking to go see the sculptures that we talked about, the monuments. How did things happen? Because there's sculptures all over the place, and it means nothing to anybody walking by. But to have that story and have it told in such a way that I can remember it, because we do enjoy, whether it be a strudel cookie, or a local beer, or a wine, or a cheese tasting along the way. That's all included in our trip and our active discovery. So if you love history, we only covered Antwerp because that's a great story and I'm running out of time, but Rotterdam is a fairly new city. It was bombed in 15 minutes by the Germans, completely wiped off the face of the earth, but they rebuilt. And there are some fabulous markets that Avalon will take you to, bike you to, and treat you to try their cuisine, to try their cookies, to try something unique and different. You don't get that when you're on a large vessel. You only get this from the personal touches of Avalon. So if you're looking for something that's easy, that's got great pace, because there's no hills in this part of the world, it's pretty flat. You can bike in one gear the whole way. And if you're looking for some unique foods, but still have your traditional meals, and I tell you, 5-star cuisines with wines of your choice, this Netherlands, Belgium trip is certainly one to rekindle your love with your most important person in your life.
Aw, you did good, Andrew. I love it. Well, it was definitely it's definitely one of those engaging experiences with all the different destinations that you get to, and yeah, it was definitely a wonderful experience. Now, I just wanted to touch a little bit, because both of you talked about being on active and discovery cruises. So and just wanted to classify that a little bit more. So on our classic cruises, we have those 3 different types of excursion choices. So the classic excursions, and remember, these are included, you get a choice of them every day. There's going to be multiple choices, whether you want to partake in a classic excursion, an active excursion, or a discovery. So to break that down and understand it a little bit, on all of our cruises, these are included. So classic is your canal cruises, your city walks, your inside visits. Your active is your guided hike, your guided bike tours, canoe experiences, anything along those lines. And then your discovery is really about the immersion of the destination. So learning more, there's food tours, there's painting workshops, cocktail workshops, chocolate making. So we've then taken that and stepped it up a little bit, and we've created active and discovery cruises. So we have more activities, more discovery excursions that are of a choice with these types of focuses. So you're looking more catered to a biking tours or hiking or food tours or painting workshops. And then of course you've also got that classic. So if you're traveling with somebody that has no interest in that other stuff, or they are like, I don't even know how to read a bike or ride a bike, then they can still take part in the classic.
I want to redo on mine. I want to redo on mine. I forgot about the oyster tasting, lobsters, the scotch tasting, the beer flights tastings, the Delft painting, and the chocolate making that I could have done, but I just ran out of time.
That's okay. There's so much, right? So many choices. So, you know, that's just want to make sure that you're aware of those types of 3 different types of excursions that are included. So here's Pam Hoffey doing one of our hiking tours above Oxbow. And then we have Carla Brake on one of her recent river cruises. She did, you know, a biking tour. As well, you can partake in those painting workshops, learn to paint like Picasso, or learning how to make some of the regional dishes. You know, so those experiences that you may not otherwise partake in. For me, this really interests me because I am not the cook at home. If you actually saw the sign in my kitchen, it says Mr. Good Looking is cooking, which is my husband. So when I get to go on these excursions and tours, it really gives me a chance to learn how to cook these great dishes and come back and knock his socks off, which is great. So, but that brings me to the next destination. So I'm going to go into a little bit more in depth with mine, and I know I have a few more slides, and it wasn't by favoritism. Well, I mean, I am last, but it's because our Asia product is a little bit different. So the type of ship that we use, the experiences on board, all of that is a little bit different. So the one great thing is we do have add-ons. You can just do the Mekong. You can do the add-on of with Hanoi and Halong Bay. So really you can cater to what your experience and how long you want to be gone for. One of the biggest aspects of cruising, river cruising with Avalon on the Mekong is we eliminate a motor coach travel that you would otherwise have to do on some of the other cruise ship itineraries that are out there. It is anywhere from 2 to 2.5 to 3 hour motor coach transfer, where with the size of our ship, you actually do it right on board. So I'm just going to show you our ship. So this is the Avalon Saigon. She's a beauty. We've got 18 suites on board, so only 36 passengers. This is a unique way to see this incredible destination. You're really docking in to these countryside areas and really being a part of these villages and immersing yourself into this destination. And I think that's really what the world of travel is about, is seeing, you know, the different ways of life and really experiencing it. But you also get to come back and enjoy the inclusions of this amazing ship. So on board we have 24 crew. So right away, you know, that's a more than 1 to 2 ratio. You're being well catered to and looked after. We have the beautiful panorama suites on this ship as well. But if you can believe it, they're actually 245 square feet. We have an open air observation lounge. The whole ship is air conditioned, which is important when you're traveling within the time of year that you're traveling with us. It's hot. You want to be able to have those comforts in your room and around the ship. Bars serving the premium spirits. Wine is complimentary, and coffee and tea, soft drinks, and local spirits throughout the day. We have our southbound or northbound cruise, and then we have 6 different extensions that you can choose to add on to this itinerary. So lots of choices. When it comes to, you know, on board, the public spaces, as you can see, it's very welcoming, very comfortable, and, you know, you can come casual and enjoy yourself while you're on board, but be spoiled with 5-star service. One of the main reasons that you travel to this part of the world, and I would say is one of the key components, is the food. You know, as far as the food on board goes, you know, it's a fusion of flavors with a brilliant balance of aromatics. You know, heat and sweet, sour and spice. It's about the sweet and salty, fresh and fermented, and cooling and warming. So it's combining all of these flavors and scents, and you know, it really makes your taste buds dance. So you'll see the food in the north is influenced by China, where further south you move, the food becomes sweeter and it's more influenced by Thailand. So just showing you the itinerary, you know, again, you can choose just to partake in the river cruise alone, but as well have some of these add-ons that are available to you. You know, one of the biggest reasons that people travel on this itinerary is Angkor Wat, the city of temples. You know, it's the most spectacular ruins ever constructed and the largest religious structure in the world. And it's 400 square kilometers. It is huge. One of the components that we include is you can explore by tuk-tuk or by bike. And we take you to the main and the biggest temples within the area of the ruins. And then obviously you can't tour all 400 square kilometers in the time that we have in this destination. But, you know, if you get on a tuk-tuk, you probably could cover more ground. And my gosh, I mean, what a great experience. Who doesn't want to do that, right?
Well, the poor guy doing the tuk-tuk, I don't know. I want to see all of it. Okay. There's a tag team of them.
One of the other great experiences that I like is you also get to partake in a traditional water blessing. You know, I think, again, and I use this word a lot because is immersion into the destination. Because I think when we travel the world, some of the most important things that you can carry home with you are those traditional experiences that you would otherwise never be a part of. So, you know, I often wonder, why do we not tour our local temples? We travel the world and we see these temples, but we don't necessarily do it in our home cities and country. But to experience and understand the cultures and the reasons why that they have these special traditions, I think it just makes your experience in these destinations that much greater. Of course, when you go in Phnom Penh, you can take a cyclo tour. So this is your cyclo tour. This is a single, but you know, of course, we can try get you one of the bigger ones. You have the bigger ones to choose from, and be able to tour of the Royal Palace, which is absolutely breathtaking. So, you know, adorned in gold, and, you know, the structures and the intricate details. I know when I tour the world, going into churches and seeing coliseums and all of that is such a great component of seeing these amazing places. So it's so incredible seeing how different it changes by country. So of course, you also get to travel through the Chao Dock Market. After lunch, you'll get to see a traditional guided sailing on the backside of the Mekong, which is an incredible experience on its own. So within Chao Dock Market, you know, you can see how the locals purchase their food and their goods. And you really, again, there's that immersion of the culture and seeing how other places in the world interact and live. And you know, I think it's such a humbling experience to see and experience this. Now, one of the things, just to wrap up, when it comes to you know, traveling on the Mekong, we really dock into, you know, these villages, and it's such an authentic experience. You know, you're right in the heart of these wonderful towns and cities. And don't get me wrong, there is docks in some of the areas that we go to, some of the bigger cities, But some of these smaller places, you know, you're docking right into these amazing villages to have this experience. So, you know, with the Mekong, you know, it's over 3,000 miles through Asia. So you getting to experience a glimpse of this, I think it definitely should be on your live list. And Avalon does it right. You get the comforts, you get the quality, yet you can come as you are. You know, you don't have to pack a suit. You don't have to get dressed up for dinner. You can enjoy yourself and really immerse yourself into this incredible destination. And doesn't matter what itinerary you choose, because I work with Avalon, and as much as I want you to choose my itinerary, you know, it's a win for everyone, no matter where you travel to. So thank you for, you know, hearing my spiel.
That's
And
awesome.
I hope we get to welcome you on board, regardless of what ship it is. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you come back to your 5-star boutique hotel, right? And they whisk you off to the next one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen 3 fabulous destinations. Do cast your votes soon. Is it Dale's France? Or do we go overseas to Asia with Fiona? Or do we stay back in Europe, modern Europe, with Andrew out of the Netherlands? You can cast your vote, or if you're looking for something else that Avalon travels to, I mean, you do have 14 vessels that travel around. Come on into our office, speak with any of our consultants, speak with anybody here, and we'd love to learn where you want to travel to next and why, because we've all had our unique stories, whether it be food and wine, reconnecting, or hitting a bucket list. Avalon Waterways has something for you. Fiona, any last words?
No, thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to having you on board. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Mr. Dale, any last words?
No, it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's going to be a winner.
100%.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day wherever you may be. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.